Guys, I hold the phones. I can't believe it. All right. So let me paint this picture for you, people. I'm not shitting you right now. I'm looking at my screen, my Zoom screen, as I'm speaking to you, the Busted Open After Dark Nation, from sea to shining sea, from Bangor to Bakersfield, and every chapter in between. I'm talking to you guys, looking at the screen, and LaGreca's face just popped up. I knew it. There's something told me he would not be able to stay away from this. Holy shit. Welcome to the show, Dave LaGreca.
It's like the 10 hours didn't pass by today. It's like we're still doing the show from this morning.
Oh, but obviously you have decided to just jump. This is what you call a shoot, run in. You obviously just saw what happened.
Is it just me? Because I'm being honest with you, as soon as I heard The Rock talk, I texted you and our producer Paul, like, man, it sounds like The Rock was listening to Busted Open this morning.
Now hold on. Hold that thought right there. Andre, I want you to pop on real quick. Andre, what did I say to you after The Rock started talking?
You said that, looks like The Rock was listening to him.
Thank you, Andre. Dave, it's insane.
And it's unbelievable to me. And Bully, let me preface this by saying, like we did on the show today, love The Rock. Rock has done a lot for this business. I'm very happy that as successful as The Rock is, he still feels like pro wrestling is his home. I'll always respect The Rock for that. That being said, is he the most thin-skinned human being on the face of the planet? With everything that happened last night and with everything that's happening on NXT today, that's the first thing he says when he steps into that ring at a sold-out Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles, is to bring up that it gets under his skin. It's everything that happened in that run to WrestleMania 40. It still bothers him, and you can't tell me I'm wrong.
How about the caller who called in earlier today who mentioned that he didn't exactly like that The Rock was, taking swigs of Terramana and then jumping in the car. And Rock acknowledged that he didn't mention Busted Open, but he acknowledged that exact, complaint that one of our callers had today.
And Bully, if this was something that was all over social media, like when he mentions the Cody Crybabies, when that happened 8 months ago at WrestleMania, that was something that was trending. That's something that everybody was talking about. Outside of our conversation this morning, do you see anybody talking about this?
Not a one.
Even the situation with Cody. A lot of people are talking about the overall night. A lot of people talking about, Hogan. A lot of people talking about other than you and I don't think anybody was having the take, especially that you had this morning on Cody. But yet again, of all the great things that have happened over the last 48 hours, that's what he decided to start the night with on NXT when he stepped into that ring, was about the Cody Crybabies. And listen, I'm not saying this is an ego thing, so you can completely shut me. When he was talking, I'm like, oh my God, he's talking to me. He's talking to me.
I came on the show, Dave, and I'm like, you know how I always say they listen? And I've been saying that for years here on the show on Busted Open. I've been saying that for years on social media. I was like, we can now add The Rock's name to they. They is the entire wrestling business. The entire wrestling business is tuned into what me, you, Tommy, Mark, Nick, Thunder have to say. But you can include Rock now. And listen, the proof is in the pudding. Last year, WrestleMania, The Rock included you in that video as like the head, the king of the Cody Crybabies, you in your pink robe. And almost 1 year later, he's still acknowledging it.
It's listen, my phone was like, I was like, this can't be. And then as soon as it came out of his mouth, my phone was blowing up of people texting me saying, dude, is he doing this again? Is this a replay of last year? And I couldn't believe it. Of all the things to start with tonight, he decided to talk about the Cody crybabies.
And it's obvious that, listen, they promoted The Rock on the for the show tonight, the first CW show of 2025, New Year's Evil, which I thought was a very, very strong showing by NXT tonight. They advertise him. We see him, we see him arriving, beginning, middle, end. We see him arriving. We see him in a backstage with Ava and Ethan Page. I thought Ethan Page did a great job sharing the spotlight with The Rock. And why do I say sharing the spotlight? Because Cody Rhodes last night on Netflix should have been standing as close to The Rock and sharing the spotlight with him last night as Ethan Page was tonight. Ethan Page looked more like an equal to The Rock tonight than Cody did last night.
I agree with you. And again, all it would take is for Cody to have an entrance and step into that ring. And we could go even deeper in it. Like we talked about, you and I on the phone, about Gunther. And Gunther's your world champion. He represents Raw. He wasn't on the show other than the vignette. Listen, we could talk about this forever, but I was just very surprised that of all the positives that he decided to start tonight on a negative. And if you're finishing the story and you're moving off of Cody and you gave him the acknowledgement, why do you have to bring up those fans, which again, I'm one of them, Bully. Why do you feel the need to bring up the fans that were upset about the reason you came back last year? You can't tell me it still doesn't bother him, and you can't tell me it still doesn't get under his skin, because it feels like the entire WWE universe has moved off of this. Bully, our conversation, you and I are in the minority with this. Nobody else is talking. Nobody seems to be bothered. Last year, it was trending. It was trending number one. The fans were bothered. That was not the case coming out of Raw from last night. We're definitely in that small space of people that were bothered by the way Cody was treated last night. But yet he still decided to bring up the Cody crybabies and the thing that we talked about on the show today.
I retweeted, I quote tweeted the video from today, and I was very specific using the word we, meaning me and you. I said, we said what we said because we meant it. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised by your run-in, because I think we really wanted to talk more about this morning, but there was so many other things from Raw to cover. And we actually spoke this afternoon, and we spoke a little bit more about the Cody situation. And a couple of people on social media chimed in, and they were like, well, Cody's not on Raw, so he wouldn't be, a part of the show. And they were trying to make all these excuses. You can make any excuse you want. Cody was there. So if it wasn't planned for him to have a music and entrance, he still did a run-in. All of these excuses are null and void to me. Am I to assume that The Rock just called Cody and said, hey, buddy, I want you to sit in the front row because I want to put you over? Like, it was not the right place for Cody to appear. As we talked about this morning, listen, if you're going to share the spotlight with Ethan Page, who's an NXT talent, and you're going to stand shoulder to shoulder with him, you should be standing shoulder to shoulder with Cody Rhodes. I don't care what brand Cody is on. He is your undisputed champion, the face of the place, and the guy, he might not be the face of the place, it might be Roman, but he's the guy who The Rock admitted carried the company. So Cody should have gotten that first entrance last night. And then The Rock could have interrupted him, and The Rock could have said everything to his face. They could have put each other over, left the ring together, and then The Rock could have came back and crowned Roman. So that's the crux of what we talk about. But then for him to come out on NXT and said what he said, it's almost as if like if everybody doesn't love me and is not on board with what I want to portray, I have a problem with it.
Yeah, and I almost wish, and I'm definitely going to do
It's
this.
almost like a kneel before Zod mentality.
Bully, and tomorrow we'll definitely have to play the whole sound, the whole promo. But yeah, he was just like, again, just like either you're with me or against me. Like, why? I mean, haven't we always been taught when it comes to pro wrestling that you have the people that you boo, you have the people that you cheer? That was the case. That was the case with what we saw last year going into WrestleMania. So you played the role. You played along with the role. Are we supposed to now just completely forget everything that we saw last year just because now you're deciding to come back and have a completely different character than the final boss last year?
And here's the thing. You mentioned today how you think The Rock is done. It's over. We're seeing the last of him. Tonight could be the absolute last. Triple H in the press conference talked about not wanting to insult the intelligence of wrestling fans, WWE Universe fans, thus acknowledging the past. Are we supposed to completely forget about the Raw after WrestleMania from last year with that uncomfortable, tense promo segment with The Rock and Cody, in which The Rock handed Cody something, and we are supposed to forget about Bad Blood? Like, you're not going to put some kind of a bow on this? And if this is part of the story, let's just say this is all a part of some big, grand story, scheme, swerve, whatever you want to call it, where we're going to go into WrestleMania and The Rock is going to be involved and Cody. I still have no idea why Cody was sitting in the front row and my undisputed champion was portrayed and given the perception of he's a fan.
Well, and Bully, didn't you have kind of the same? I know it's different, but didn't you have the kind of the same feeling watching that segment on Raw as you did last year after Cody won the Rumble on that SmackDown when The Rock came out and took that opportunity from Cody? It kind of had that same feeling to it.
It was a bit of rinse and repeat. Like you're the guy until I come back and decide to be the guy. But here's the thing. When the Cody run first started, when everybody was on board, when you were leading the charge and all of the Cody fans were behind you and behind the rallying cry and win Cody win and let's go Cody, it's because Cody was fighting from underneath. We were a part of his journey, and because we saw how The Rock was trying to insert himself into a spot that Cody had earned through the passion of the fans. I don't know if the fan base would necessarily be there as strong right now if Rock tried to do the same thing.
I don't think so. I agree. I agree. I don't think it would.
Because I think people would look at it as, okay, he finished the story. We helped him finish the story. He's had the belt for almost a year. All right. I don't think we can have as much. We can't be as behind him as much as we once were.
Yeah, because the story is finished. Like, I really feel like you put all your eggs in that basket and you can move on. And Bully, in a lot of ways, it felt like The Rock wanted to move on from that as well. So I'm very confused why he decided to go the route that he did tonight on NXT. He said what he said last night on Raw. He put Cody over. Listen, Bully, it's our job to be opinionated about what we saw. We didn't like the way it was done, but the mission was accomplished. The Rock went in there, acknowledged Cody Rhodes, and acknowledge what he has done over the last year, acknowledge what he's done since WrestleMania 40 and how he put the company on his back. We may not have liked the way it was presented, but mission accomplished. Why did Rock feel the need to bring that up again on NXT? You said it last night. You closed the book on it. It's over. You put it away. Why did you feel like you had to go and make that dig at the Cody fans tonight? There was no reason for it. You moved on. That he did that because he's not over it. He is still bothered by everything that happened on that road to WrestleMania 40.
Dave, between the use of the final boss tonight, his attitude towards everything seems so over the top, and it's almost like he's glad handing everybody. He's being so nice, so sweet. Love me, love me, love me. Chase the hug. There's something telling me I don't know if he's done. It's almost like he's setting everybody up just to take them down.
I still think he's done, but I am not as positive about it right now as I was this morning.
Dave, we're talking about The Rock. We're talking about his promo at the end of the night. When we went to break, the first thing that you said to me was, Bully, my Twitter is lighting up with people who are saying that The Rock must have listened to Busted Open this morning. I checked my social media. Bro, you're dead on balls accurate. Oh my God. Everybody is tweeting us the same thing. They're hashtag, they're adding us or whatever the hell you call it. They're like, Dave, Bully, he definitely listened. He definitely know what you said. And if he didn't listen to the whole show, he listened to the clip that we released today on Twitter.
Yeah, I have a feeling that there's somebody that probably told him about what we talked about this morning. And then he went and he saw the clip that was on social media. That would be my guess.
The last time he thought 20 steps ahead, it bit him in the ass.
It did. And he used that same verbiage last year. And like you said, it bit him in the ass.
That 20 steps ahead did not work against the WWE universe because you never saw them coming. And the absolute tidal wave of Cody supporters that made you pivot in an instant.
And I listen, this is just my theory here. And I think that's, I know he had a little bit more, but I think that's pretty much the gist of what he had to say when it came to the Cody crybabies from last night or tonight. I think when it comes to The Rock, he took a step back, he let the field clear, and now he stepped back in to the scene again. And I agree with you, Bully. I think the environment is a lot different than it was a year ago. A year ago, we were following Cody. We wanted him to finish the story. Now he's finished the story. He's had the title for over 8 months, defending that championship. And now he stepped back into the scene once again. And it is different. And I think he could accomplish some of the things he wanted to do last year that the WWE universe wouldn't let him do. That's why when he says something like, hey, know your role and shut your mouth, just enjoy the ride. What are you saying? So it's almost like going back to what you said, Bully. Maybe he's not done. Because what we're sitting back and enjoying what ride? What ride are you taking us on?
Ding, ding, ding. Circle gets the square. Because if this was it for him, there'd be no more ride left. The ride would be over. That last piece of verbiage from The Rock insinuates that the next phase of the ride is yet to come.
And here's the other thing, Bully, and that you can't just jump in and be like, all right, now I'm going to be a completely different character. Now I'm putting Cody over. It doesn't work like that. This is not something that happened 5 years ago. It happened less than a year ago.
So would you consider that insulting to the fan?
It is a bit insulting to the fan. And what makes it even more insulting is that he's bringing it up and telling me that I'm in the wrong. That because I feel differently than he does and I won't accept it, I'm the problem. He's not the problem. I'm the problem. Well, you just 8 months ago left Cody Rhodes a bloody mess in a parking lot. You got in his mother's face at ringside WrestleMania weekend. You had an awkward back and forth with him the night after WrestleMania. You made a throat slash towards him 2 months ago at Bad Blood. Are we supposed to just take all that and forget about it and throw it out the window just because you want us to?
And what have I constantly been bringing up on Busted Open when it comes to Rock and Cody? Remember when The Rock whispered in Cody's ear? I was like, I want to know what he whispered in his ear. That was a major sticking point for me. I want to know. And then what became my next point that I wanted to know about? What did The Rock hand to Cody in that ring? You went out of the way to base that almost entire promo around what Rock handed back to Cody. You painted this picture. I want to know. Is that me being like some uber, like geeky basement dwelling wrestling fan where I need to know the answer to every little thing? No, but that was a major part of the night after Raw. What did Rock hand him back? And why did he make the throat slash sign towards Cody and Roman? And why has he been holding up the three digits, like the 3D or the triple threat or the John Cena 3? What was the significance behind that?
We'll never know.
But according to The Rock, I'm just supposed to shut up, forget about it, and just do as I'm told.
And it goes back, Bully, to the documentary that they released on YouTube after WrestleMania 40, where The Rock was like, hey, the match that everybody wants to see is me and Roman. That's the marquee matchup. But there was a fraction of the fans that wanted to see Cody finish the story. So I said, hey, guys, let's appease those fans. Let's finish the story, and we can always come back to that. He has made this feel like it's second best. And now he goes out on NXT and makes a direct shot once again to Cody's fans. The fans he's talking about are the Cody's fans. And Cody Rhodes is your undisputed WWE Universal Champion. The guy that you said carried the company on his back for the last year.
I'm just not positive that the Cody fans are going to rally behind Cody like they rallied behind him a year ago. I think that if you are the leader of this battle cry and you turned around and looked at your crew, you'd be going into battle with a lot less than you had last year.
Yeah, and it's almost like it's not the same thing, Bully. Like last year, we knew what The Rock's plan was, and we foiled it. We won. This is his way of saying, you know what? I'm not going to just let that die. I am not going to lose that battle. I'm going to win the war. And I feel like this is his way of winning the war. And you know what? God bless him. I think you're right, Bully. I think he would. If he wants to change it, he'll be able to change it this time around. Because I don't think the fans are going to rally the same way that they did last year, because Cody finished the story and was able to have that WrestleMania moment.
I got to tell you, like, I keep going back to last night and Cody in the front row and the perception of it. I think a lot of people, at least I read on social media, that a lot of people did agree with us. I keep going back and giving the examples of the former champions, and would they ever be sitting in the front row? I bring up tonight standing side by side with Ethan Page. If Ethan Page is good enough to stand shoulder to shoulder with The Rock, so is Cody Rhodes. And then when Ethan walks out of the shot, and I thought Ethan Page did a great job holding his own with The Rock. His body language was great. He wasn't intimidated by The Rock. He didn't flinch. He was on point with his verbiage. And then he goes to walk away, and The Rock smacks him in the ass on the way out. As a man, I'm turning around and I'm decking you. I'm doing something, but last night, that's exactly what Rock did to Cody. He verbally smacked him in the ass on the way out when he said, "Tell Mama Rhodes I said hello."
Yeah, and I kind of look at it too, like you almost made like everything that the fans were emotionally invested in like a joke. And that like, hey, you're in the joke with me, right? I mean, that was all fun and games. Like, that's how I feel. Like, something so monumental like we saw last year, the most watched WrestleMania of all time, and now we're supposed to just wash our hands of it and forget it. It's not that easy. You can't just do that. just because you wanted to. And that's what he did last year. I'm back. Give me the Rumble spot. Now again, I'm back. Let's forget me as a heel. Like, this is the Rock babyface character moving forward. Let's get over everything that happened last year, because this is something completely different.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Was tonight the last time we saw The Rock, or will we be seeing him again, maybe as early as the Royal Rumble and heading into WrestleMania season?